Welcome to an episode of Audrey Tries to Film. This week we have a lamp because the lights aren't working in my house at the moment. Today I'm doing my August TBR, which is also my TBR for the MS read-a-thon. Now this is not a YouTube read-a-thon or anything. This is a read-a-thon that's run externally through an organization that aims to fundraise for families that are dealing with a diagnosis of MS, which is multiple sclerosis. So the MS read-a-thon is something that happened in Australia in primary school. So schools could sign up and then all the children could all the children could participate, and the aim basically was a competition for me. The aim was basically to read as many books as you could, and then you'd get family members and friends to sponsor you per book that you read or just for the entirety of the thing. So alongside of this, I am actually trying to fundraise, and I'll put my link for that down below. But in general, you did it in primary school, and it raises money for children specifically of people who are dealing with a diagnosis of MS, and aims to send them on family camps with their families. So it's a really good organization, and I'm doing the MS read-a-thon with Things Lucy Reads. We've got a team. If you want to sign up, join our team, you can do that down below. Otherwise, we would just really love if you can give anything that you can. I'll also link Lucy's channel down below. They just put up a TBR of their own, and it's really cool, so you should check that out. But without further ado, let's get into this. I'm being a little bit ambitious. I've got quite a few books on my list, and I know that I won't get to a lot of them, but I put them down there just so that I have a little bit of move around room. So my camera is running out of batteries. Let's hope that that lasts this whole video. Let's rush. Okay, cool. For the first one, we have The Mere Wife by Maria Headley. So I'm going to be reading this on ebook on my iPad through the library. That's going to be really exciting. Next up, we have Nick Cave, Mercy on Me. I love Nick Cave. This is by Reinhard Kleist, I'm going to say. And this is just a biography of Nick Cave, I think, but it is also in graphic novel form. So that's going to be really easy to read during a readathon. Next up, we have Turtle Under Ice, which is by Julia Del Rosario, and I'm reading this again on ebook. Let me look. Turtle Under Ice. Yes, it is a novel in verse, and it is about a child called Rowena whose mother has just passed away. Sorry, I'm looking down at my iPad this whole time. Whose mother has just passed away, and her sister are dealing with that passing in very different ways. So it's about that. I believe that might be middle grade, otherwise, or YA. Next up, we have Sick Bay. Now this is an Australian middle grade, and I'm really excited because I don't think I've ever read a middle grade as an adult, and it's by Nova Wheatman, and it is about two girls who I think probably become friends in a sick bay, and one of them has diabetes type 1. Oh, I forgot. Jesus Christ, Audrey. Me and Things Lucy Reads have come up with 2 challenges for the readathon. As I said, it's not a YouTube readathon, but we'd really like it if over the upcoming years it gets a little bit of traction. And so we've come up with 2 challenges for ourselves, and one of them is to read a book over 300 pages, and the other one is to read an own voices book about a disability. Now, of course, the aim in this was to read a book about an own voices book about MS, but we couldn't really find any that weren't memoirs, and they are not entirely our thing. But also, I know personally for me, I wasn't even able to get a copy of any of those memoirs on through a library or through an audiobook service, and so that just made it harder. But it was an own voices disability. Now, Sick Bay obviously isn't own voices. The author said that she was largely inspired by this by meeting a friend of her daughter who had diabetes. So I imagine it is inspired more so than other things maybe by real life, but it is not an own voices story. Next, we have This Train Is Being Held by Ismay E. Williams. This is an urban romance set on a subway. It is about, I think the female main character is of Cuban, Jesus, sorry, of Cuban descent, and she falls in love with a Latino boy that her mother does not approve of. Next up, we have Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Now, everyone is talking about this book. It's not new, but it is actually kind of hard for me to get in Australia. So I have got that on my ebook service as well, and I don't have that yet, but it is telling me it'll be in by the 13th of August. So I hope it will be, but if it isn't, I'll find something else. Now, in Australia, August is the start of uni. So I do have a lot of uni reading that I have to do. So I am including this in my TBR because I have to read it. And for this, we have Virginia Woolf, To the Lighthouse. I have read this before twice, so this won't possibly be a full read through, depends on what my class says, but I will be reading this. Then we have Dubliners by James Joyce. I'm not going to say what these ones are about because I don't really know. James Joyce, Dubliners. Then we have what I'm going to be doing for the disability owned voices, but also something that I have to read for uni, and that is some poems by Sylvia Plath. You can't see that that's Sylvia Plath, but it is. Particularly, we need to read Ariel, which is about Plath's experience with mental illness. We also have another book that I have to read for uni, which is the narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym by Edgar Allan Poe, but I don't have it yet. It's coming in the mail, but hopefully it arrives by the end of August because I need to read it for uni by the end of August. Next up we have... Hey guys, so I know that the setup looks different, but my camera just ran out of batteries and I really want to get this video up by the end of today, so I'm going to keep filming. Sorry about the quality, but I'll try to get better next time. I think where I was up to was I was saying that the next book I'm going to be reading is The Frankston Murders by Vicky Petratus. I have actually met Vicky. She's a wonderful person. She's friends or colleagues, I guess, with my mum, who is also an Australian writer, so they know each other through those circles. But I'm interested in reading this book because, one, I have it, and it is signed by her, which is very interesting. But also, I love true crime. And by I love true crime, I mean it in the way that everyone means it, which is that I hate true crime, but it is something that interests me. Also, Frankston is a suburb in Melbourne, which is where I live, so I always like reading local things and learning more about Melbourne history. And also I used to live in Frankston, so this is about a series of murders that happened in the 90s, I believe. I'll put the exact year somewhere here, but it happened in the 90s, and I'm just really interested. Oh, love that, my phone's ringing. I have no idea who that was. The final book that I have got on my list that is like my definite, this is what I want to read, is another true crime, and that is The Family by Chris Johnson and Rosie Jones, I believe. And this is about another Melbourne true crime story, which was a cult that was around, I believe, in the 70s and 80s. Everyone obviously knows about Julian Assange. It was rumoured for ages that he was in the cult, or was that he was involved in the cult. From what I have heard, that was not founded at all. But just if you have heard of that, that might be a way that you're heard of The Family before. But I'm also very interested in cults, and so I'm excited to read this. I do have a copy, but it's actually at my mum's house at the moment, so I will be reading this, luckily, on ebook. So that is my TBR. I know it's really long. It's like 13 or 14 books. I'm not entirely sure if I'll get through everything because I have uni starting back, but I did choose a graphic novel, middle grade, 2 novels in verse. So I'm hoping that I'm able to get through a large chunk of that. The true crime shouldn't be too long to pick through either, but I'm really excited about this. So subscribe if you want to see me again, I guess. I promise next time that I will charge the battery on my camera. It was dead from the reading rush, but I will possibly be doing weekly vlogs of this. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have videos coming up in the next 2 weeks about what I'm going to be studying this semester at uni, and also what I studied last semester at university, because I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts majoring in English and History, so I thought that might be interesting for some people. Now, as I said, I will be linking the channel of Things Lucy Reads down below with their most recent TBR for the MS Read-a-thon, so you should check them out. They're really cool. And also I will be linking down the website of the MS Read-a-thon. If you wanted to sign up to our team, I'll be linking that link, and I'll also be linking their more general link. How many times can I say link in this sentence? Always a counter. I'll also be putting down their more general link if you want to read up on what they actually do. But I'm very excited about this. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are down below. I'm probably more active on Twitter, but we're working on it. As you've seen in this, my skills with photography are not that great. Anyway, without further ado,